Who threw the first brick at Pride? And why are we asking that question still in 2026? I decided to make a brick purse. So in exploring how to make this project, I thought I would get some mortar. I actually tried concrete blocks. I thought maybe I would 3D print a mold and make silicone reverse molds and then pour mortar and use a binder and create a consistent shape and all these kinds of things, adding pigment. And in the end, we're using an actual brick, and I couldn't be happier. A brick purse, an exploration of a utilitarian object out of this iconic symbol of protest that has led to what has hopefully been some change, although so much has changed, so many things stay the same. Thinking about the health and happiness and well-being, the safety and security of all my LGBTQ friends. I'm always advocating for folks to take care of themselves and carry pepper spray, and I'm a lobbyist for Big Sauce. And so the brick was an exploration of what does safety look like in the modern era. Can't believe it's not breaking. I wanted to cut the brick to a certain depth to be able to fit objects inside of it, namely my phone. But I wanted to be able to fit some other stuff in there, and I was trying to think about how to cut it to depth. This is probably the most stressful part of this entire process, getting so close to the edge of this brick. I'm just incredibly worried the entire time I'm doing this that I'm just going to slam right out the side of this thing. And so when I'm thinking about the safety of my friends, I'm really thinking about the moral and ethical obligation. Who provides that safety? And riots are just the language of the unheard. And ultimately, that's all of us. All of us are responsible for taking care of each other. I feel like every time I touch this brick, it's going to crumble like late-stage capitalism. So there's all these historic moments that have happened in LGBTQ history. So much is attributed to singular people at moments in time. I'm a little worried that this thing is going to break. Every time I touch it, it feels like it's going to break. The Stonewall riots, supposedly Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera were the ones that threw the brick. Somebody threw the coffee cup at the 1966 Compton's Cafeteria riot. And people have, stormed the steps of City Hall in 79 after the death of Harvey Milk and the White Night riot. And on back through history, including two-spirit battles that have happened throughout these so-called United States. Hey, thanks for coming to the channel. Please stay tuned for the rest of the build. Like and subscribe. Love you. Look, I had the idea of making this object that resembles the protest object of yesteryear into the future with putting mesh in it to make a Faraday cage. The idea that in modern protests you're being surveilled and you would want to keep your phone from being tracked from GPS or Bluetooth or these kinds of things. This mesh looks like other Faraday cage material that I've seen over the years, which is probably a tighter weave or it's copper. Anyway, this is a long way of saying it didn't work.
Fucking totally connected.
So don't believe everything you see on the internet. Always test and confirm. Time and time again, when we recall these histories, we always want to use a singular person or create a hero in these stories. And so often, when you're a part of a monumental shift in history, there are all sorts of players involved. No one singular person is actually responsible. Marsha P. Johnson denied that she was there when things got started and that she did not throw the brick. Sometimes with the way that media talks about moments in history, the way that these stories are retold is that these were magical people or exceptional heroes that found themselves in a moment of time of greatness. And what that does often is it absolves us of our responsibility and our agency with needing to show up to the current moment. I'm actually wrapping around the brick with this bezel, and when you weld all four sides, well, each one of those welds that's molten upon cooling actually creates a little bit of tension. Welding this bezel together, I thought for sure it was going to shrink and just absolutely destroy this thing. So often, not unlike the way we talk about war, we talk about, historically, we talk about the Vietnam War, we talk about the Korean War, the war in Panama, whatever it is. So often when we talk about these things, we're talking about it from the point of the aggressor. In actuality, these are all American wars. And not unlike that when we talk about these riots historically, they're all police riots. Nobody goes to get in a fight with the police dressed in heels and a dress. People just trying to enjoy their lives. And so often these things, the Stonewall riot, the Compton's Cafeteria riot, these were police riots. We name them these things historically, but the truth is the onus has always been on the police. I have a little bit of experience working with leather over the years, but I gotta tell you, it's been a long time, actually. And while my brain, from a fabrication standpoint, understands how rivets work and grip length, depths, and thickness, stack ups, and all these kinds of things, I was pressed for time and I needed to make a belt. And hats off to the leather community. I'm sure there are a million different YouTubers and accounts, many of which I actually watched for inspiration. But you are all exceptionally better at leatherwork than I am. My tools weren't very sharp and I resorted to using a drill. So apologies to the leather community, but tough shit. I made a strong belt. So even the original history from indigenous movements with two-spirit warriors on the battlefield fighting against colonialization to black and trans folks fighting for their rights in New York to queens fighting for their right to exist on the West Coast. All of these movements stand on each other's shoulders and inform the future and what injustice still needs to be fought for. And while everyone is fixated on attribution or trying to find a hero in the stories of the past, the realities that are befalling us now are that while the Supreme Court tries to deny every step that's been taken forward, people are still going to have to fight for the same things they fought before. And as I've said, it's not important who threw the brick or the coffee cup or the two-spirit arrows that were slung before. It's actually important that we keep throwing bricks in 2026 and beyond, metaphorically.
Thanks for watching the video. If you've made it this far, please consider going to our Patreon for our brand new fledgling channel. We could use your support. Thanks.